Welcome to A Healthy Curiosity, the podcast that explores what it takes to be well in a busy world with self-care strategies from Chinese medicine. I'm your host, Brody Welch, here to support you on your journey of health, happiness, and personal evolution. Welcome to today's show. I'm your host, Brody Welch, and this is A Healthy Curiosity, which I originally created to explore different ways of being well in a busy world. And the busyness of the world is often full of noise, full of distraction that pulls us away from our sense of purpose, from our sense of clarity, from our creativity, and our ability to make decisions from the inside out. With me today to discuss how we can get back in touch with our intuition so that we can access our creativity, our power of decision making, and really start living from a place of true alignment and aliveness is Jessica Valor. Jessica is an intuitive mentor and healer for busy leaders of the world who want to feel supported personally and professionally, who want to turn on and use their intuition in life and in business. Jessica supports entrepreneurs and organizations in connecting with their highest levels of awareness to help them craft their uniquely inspired leadership roles and dynamic infrastructure. Jessica, I'm really excited to have you on the show today. Thanks for joining me.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here, Brody.
First off, what do you think intuition is? How should we be defining that for this conversation?
I think it's about being in sacred union with yourself and the flow of life and even the universe. And I feel like you get into the space of sacred union by learning to be present with yourself and practicing that presence. The quote, how you do anything is how you do everything. And I think that once you tap into your power, and you really start to practice this through we call that ritual every day, then you're able to align with your commitments, and you're able to really be in, that flow that everybody likes to call it.
I think that really resonates with my conception of what it means to be, what it means to be tapped in, what it means to be fully present, which in Chinese medicine, part of health is being in aligned with yourself, aligned with nature, aligned with the present moment. And really, you have to be in the present moment in order to be aligned with it. So to me, where I go with that is the importance of having a meditation practice. You just mentioned ritual. I'm curious what kinds of rituals you encourage your people to work with or to develop.
Yeah, so I think rituals are about learning your own rhythm and, how you want to connect to your power. And, washing the dishes can be a ritual. I was thinking about this earlier today. I was washing the dishes for my best friend because she had a party with some people last night, and then you're super busy, right? And getting out the door and a mompreneur and all of that. And so I did all the dishes for her. While I washed the dishes, I speak gratitude over my friend and her children, like seeing their beautiful faces drinking out of these cups. And I just see the blessings that are bestowed upon us every day. And I see my connection with my friend and her children and her mother and her friends, and just see that sacred union happen. And what that does is, it's as opposed to like, I have to do the dishes, right? You're in this sacred union with yourself and expressing gratitude and unconditional love, and the dishes get done really fast. And and it's this alignment piece.
Right. So dishes could either be a chore that you have to do, or it can be something that you get to do or that you're choosing to do that allows you to have this experience of connectedness.
I agree with that.
Your friends.
Yeah, I love that. And it's a ritual, right? Because for me, then it ended up being a ritual to love my friend, hold space for her kids, and to send out blessings and gratitude and to think of them. And also, I'm an entrepreneur. I work from home. And so being able to take a break from the routine, from the desk, and step away. And this is important because we live these busy lives. So it's practical, right? We want practical strategies. People think ritual and they might think it's woo-woo, but really it's about how you're doing things. And stepping away from the desk for a moment, and while I'm doing the dishes, instead of it being, that chore, it's something divine. It allows me to be present and feel good, and or feel even better, and to be in sacred union with myself and loved ones. And I think we all have our own versions of rituals. Like, I'm a big ritual bath taker and creator, and so making sure rituals are about carving out time for yourself, and I call that sacred space. You really need to carve out time for yourself every day, and this isn't just the 20 minutes in the morning of meditation. It's about your rhythm and how you want to experience your life every day. Rituals are sacred. And I'm a high believer in starting your day with meditation. I think that's the best thing anyone can do, even if you're doing it in your bed, however you're
Yeah.
doing it for you. It's not about sitting on the pillow and doing it a certain way. It's about trusting your own self and your own intuition, and connecting with your higher self, your source or God, whatever that is for you, in a way that fills your well for the day and allows you to be, expanded, so that you feel good. I feel like all humans really want is to feel good, to feel better, or to feel even better, and serve in their purpose within that, right?
Yeah. Well, and so just to get back to ritual and what makes it different than anything else, because there's having a routine, there's having a rhythm to your life that helps you stay grounded and anchored, and that kind of serves as a foundation, that tethers you to your center amidst the chaos of daily life. But there, it sounds like you're getting at something that, like, the intentionality with which you do something is what makes it a ritual. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's about how you're taking your time and space and connecting with your intuition, how you're able to be present in that time and space. So, one of these visuals I like is the tornado, and life can be like that, right? Because there's chaos around us, whether it's, in the media collectively, or, you just have a really busy life, right? Trying to get from A to B, and then all the things that come with that, all the motions and experiences and people and places and things. And in the center of a tornado is the eye, and it's calm. And so chaos is always going to be around you. But if you can find your center, then engage in rituals that keep you in that space, or engage in anything you're doing from that space, right? Then you're able to maintain that vibration, right? That alignment that you want to experience. If you try to move out into the tornado, you're going to get thrown around, right? And you're not sure where you're going to
Yeah.
land.
Oh, it's a great analogy. I find that being able to infuse just that idea of the sacred changes the activity so dramatically. It's like just that the intention is like this drop of dye that infuses the water of whatever it is you're doing. And so,
Mm.
like, I think about that with when in that for example, putting but that there's a an Ayurvedic ritual of self massage, and you can just slap oil on your body and use it as moisturizer, or you can really intend that you are applying this layer of love to your body, and that you're connecting with your physical form and soothing your nervous system with this gentleness. And it can become this, like, self-love ritual. It can become a reclaiming your body and appreciation of it as it is ritual, or it can just be moisturizing, like, that.
Mhm.
And in either way it's a good thing. But it's the kind of thing where, like, if you're stretching, okay, you're stretching your muscles. But if you're stretching with sort of with your qigong or your yoga mind, where you're also bringing in breath, where you're also you're embodying the area of your body that you are opening in the stretch, then it's like your intention is much more about a deep connection and a deep unity with yourself, as opposed to, like, I'm lengthening my hamstrings, or something like that. So I love to think about just the things that I might be doing in my daily life, or like being stuck in traffic, while, as opposed to being like, okay, I'm just commuting and I'm just being thwarted in my ability to commute effectively. that if I'm listening to a podcast or listening to music, that, that I am given this opportunity to really appreciate taking in this new knowledge, or, like really rocking out to whatever song is playing, and really
Mhm.
appreciating, like, allowing like kind of life as it's happening. It's like, how can this be the richest experience possible,
Mm.
is one of the ways that I like to bring ritual in. Um, in terms of just like it, that without even necessarily intending it to be a ritual, and it's the kind of thing that I feel like makes life a lot more enjoyable.
Absolutely. I love that. I love the word rich. It's enriching your life. We weren't created to push. Pushing through life isn't living your life. And
So true.
why would you spend your energy frustrated in traffic versus, like, I do audible books, I do podcasts, I listen to music. Like, I find that a wonderful space to be able to enjoy myself, right? Or fill my well, listening to amazing people talk about wonderful things, and then by the time you get home, you're just like feeling amazing, or wherever you're going to the office. So,
Yeah, and you're part of uplifting your consciousness into whatever, that choosing your media carefully, you are becoming part of the conversations that you're listening to, and that part of
absolutely.
the what you're learning about. With getting back to intuition and that eye of the storm analogy that you were just using, that that it seems to me like intuition is one of the most powerful things that can help us really decide like what's right for ourselves from moment to moment. I'd love to ask you, as the expert, how do you know it's the voice of intuition speaking to you versus any other voice that you might have going on internally?
Mm-hmm. This is the biggest question I get. Is how do I know it's my intuition? How do I tap into it and listen to it? And it's clearing out the static noise, right? And um, it's important that you, and Esther Hicks, if anyone knows that, talks about this a lot in her own way, but it's about tuning into, your own frequency, your own radio station, right? And connecting to your intuition in that way. And the biggest block, if you will, is self-doubt. People doubt themselves. They question their intuition. It's conditioning of what other people around them think or believe. And this energetic space right now, this time, especially with this time of year, is really about embodying your power, and to start really relying on yourself and asking yourself the questions that you seek answers to. And it's great to have validation, right? To go to experts, or your friends, or who, maybe not your friends. I guess it depends, but really leaning into the people that you need to lean into for validation, but to really trust your own voice. And that's by eliminating doubt. And one of my favorite simple processes to do that, is that I learned from the beloved Louise Hay, is a truth journal. And you write down, what you don't believe about yourself, that doubt, and then you cross it out and you write the truths that are who you really are. And being with those, using them as declarations, saying them every day, and then also making a list of what you're available for and what you're no longer available for, and cutting out all of the things that you're not available for in your life, because all they are shiny object distractions from you staying in alignment and listening to your own intuition, and the yeses that are really true to your heart and your life journey.
Okay, so I'm going to push you on this one a little bit, just for my
Sure.
because I think that what you're saying is really valuable in terms of, yeah, like if it is out of alignment with who you are, if you know it's bullshit and it needs to go, like absolutely, like detoxify your life from it. You are no longer available for that. Right on, like that sounds like such good advice. And yet I feel like so much of us are still running ourselves into the ground because there's so many things that are actually in alignment with who we are and what we believe, that we care about the people in our lives, we care about our careers, we care about our self-care, our bodies, our spirits, like, and it's still too much. And so when things all feel right, I I'm curious as to I'm curious as to how our intuition can help navigate when everything does feel like it's a yes.
What do you mean by, well, what's the problem that we're solving?
Basically, not having enough energy to go around.
Right. Well, then something needs to be put down. It's about what the bigger yes
Yeah.
is, right? What's your bigger
Hmm.
yes? Because here's the thing, you're not actually ever saying no to any of those aligned projects and visions that you have. You're committing to your highest yes, which is going to expand you even more. And you download what, like 30,000 ideas or more in a lifetime. You're not going to be able to do them all, and that's old paradigm thinking. That's where the especially with the female archetype in our country, and all these roles, that's not possible. You don't have that kind of energy to expend, so it's getting real clear on what you do want, and staying aligned with that. And things might shift for you, right? You're always evolving your soul, and you're always ascending your energy. That doesn't even stop when you leave this world. That's the soul's journey. And so it's being flexible, but also in alignment with what you're truly committed to. So I would invite someone to take a look at that by listing them out and going through an alchemy process of making a decision for what their yeses are, especially moving into the new year. So,
So are you talking like really practically making a list of these things and seeing what floats to the top?
yeah, I think it's really important to blend, spiritual with strategy. I mean, we're in this world, so it's using all of those things together. So, making a list of what's on your plate, what you're wanting to accomplish, um, and taking a look at what's the most important to you, and then organizing your from there, like how are you going to move forward, what's the biggest yes, and then organizing those things that works best with your schedule.
Got it. Yeah. So and that question, I like that idea that things can evolve over time, that it's like the biggest yes for this year or this month or this 3-month period might not be the biggest yes for all time, and that this requires an ongoing dialogue.
Yes, absolutely. I think that it's, again, I mean, I think one of the things that I'm doing, right now with my clients that are in a mastermind for their business, and also helping them with things in their life, but, focusing on their business goals in 2018 is, what are you putting down before we get started? Because everybody's coming to the table with way too much. And,
Yes.
if unless you have a team, right? Great. Then maybe you can launch your YouTube channel and grow that and your podcast and all of these things. But if not, then how are you really going to be present with your family, yourself, your family, and your clients and your business if you're not able to really focus and hone in where your energy's needed most and where you really most want to focus it? And I think that's again old paradigm thinking. Oh, I have to do it all, be it all, get it all done. And that's just not real. That's still a cord of old self-worth stuff that needs to be unrooted from our existence.
How do we do that?
Well, I think it's an alchemy process. I think you go
Mhm.
on a spiritual journey. I think, like I have an Ascended Healers Academy where I teach people how to do this process through their spiritual awakening, but also how to bring in those energy healing tools. And I mean, there's 12, I think 10 or 12 alchemy classes, so there's so many different ways that you can do that and unwind the past. And again, already sharing some tools today are really what you're available for and not available for, and staying strong in those declarations. That's probably one of the most simple tools. One of the things we do in my first spiritual awakening alchemy class is we go through your entire life. You timeline your life, and I started age, birth, right, and all the way to your age now, and you literally go back to each year, and you take a look at, when did my spiritual awakening start, and where did doubt show up? And so we start digging in to where self-worth cords are, and basically connecting all of the dots so that you can then go through the process of healing that. I believe that all people on the planet right now are here to heal, rise, love, and lead. We're here to help the planet heal, and we do that by individually healing and then sharing that inspiration with others, no matter how we reflect that in our own experiences.
I want to take a moment to tell you about one of the most inspiring things in my life right now, my coaching group, Level Up. Our video calls are among the highlights of my week because people are regularly having breakthroughs, and not just things like losing weight or enjoying better energy and less pain, although those things are awesome, but changes that have very little to do with what we're ostensibly focused on. Our members are more confident in expressing themselves, finding their voices, drawing long overdue boundaries. They're feeling stronger and happier, clearer, and way more stress resilient. They moved from a fixed to a growth mindset, like Diana, who writes, "Deep down, I really didn't believe I could change. After all, nothing I had tried had worked in the past. Now I know better. I'm happier and more confident. I'm way more kind to myself. Less negative self-talk and perfectionism. I'm treating myself with the same compassion I readily give others, which has made a huge difference in my outlook on life. Level Up is the real deal. It works." Another member of mine who wanted to feel more calm and confident, which she'd literally been working on for decades, told me, "Nothing has stuck until now." This course is a transformation incubator that is so remarkable and effective that not one but two members from the last round gifted their friends an entire year's membership because they wanted those friends to be part of this circle of support and true community. It's an incredible group of conscious people who are serious about doing things differently, upgrading their nourishment, getting stronger, trading stress for ease, and most importantly, living in alignment with the person they know themselves to be. If you want in, it's time to take action because spots are limited. Head over to the Level Up page at brodywelch.com and apply. Now back to the show. I love that idea of connecting the dots because I mean that's in many ways how we create our identity in the present moment as we tell a story, right? Of the and we get to choose what goes into our story and how that and really because like we're rewriting our story all the time, but being able to look into the past and instead of thinking of things that we felt victimized by or that were blocks, that they're actually the obstacles in our path that shaped who we are today, and being able to use it in an empowering, strengthening way, where as opposed to something that keeps us stuck.
Yes, and identity is the key word here. So, I
Mm-hmm.
love that. It's because, that's an interesting perspective because we get really attached to our old identities. And I feel like with some of my clients and just witnessing some, being online entrepreneur and seeing people is it's almost like a grieving process sometimes of letting go of those old identities.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah. Like, oh, well, I feel like I've been ready to let go of the overachieving identity for so long. And just when I feel like I've got it kind of kicked to the curb, it'll come roaring back. And it's the kind of thing where it's like, I know I like when I'm in touch with my center, I know that it's a lie, right? I know that it's like it's just one piece of who I am, but it's so hard to put down. And it's just like it's insidious. And yet I know that it's in the way of who I'm becoming next. And that's one of the reasons why I really appreciate having community where I have people who know me who are holding me accountable to the fact that I'm more than what I get done in a day. And it's like that it's the kind of thing where that having if you're around people who just want to see you the way you were 10 years ago or just want to kind of hold you trapped in a stagnant place in your evolution who don't let you evolve, then it's a lot harder to than if you have people who believe in you and who believe that change is possible and who believe that you have more colors in your palette than you've traditionally been painting with. And it's the kind of thing where because our identity is social, it's like if we're trying to evolve it, everyone else is going to have to relate to us differently. And so it can be really helpful to have a coach or a community of people who are on a path of conscious evolution to help.
Absolutely. And to me, that's what becoming whole is. It's calling all parts of you home. It's calling in the identities that you do want to embody, right? And to me, that's this process of, embodying your sovereignty completely. And it maybe make a list too. Another, practical tool is like, what are those old identities and how did they make you feel? And, letting them go through that process. And then what are the identities that you want to experience now? How do you want to be seen, heard, and felt, right? What is your essence? Like, that's one of my favorite words. What is your soul essence and how do you want to express that? And these old identities, how are they holding you back from doing that and letting those go?
Yeah, that's something that your language is actually really similar to the language of Chinese medicine. There's this idea that we have an essential self that we come into this life with, and that essential self is stored in the kidneys, in the kidney jing, as we call it, and that are as that original chi, or as that original essence is expressed differently throughout our lives. That's basically our potential becoming actual. And that sovereignty, that word, that the heart is the sovereign. And in Chinese medicine, the heart is the center for both the emotional center as well as the center of consciousness. And it's that which integrates all of the different elements, that wood,
Mm-hmm.
fire, earth, metal, and water. And so that basically, so if we think about just sort of the ways that we're living, we could identify those according to 5 element type, which is sort of the Chinese medicine personality test. And like personality and physiology united equals your constitution. And that really, like, we have all elements within us, and we can really overplay one or the other based on what we were rewarded for growing up, or what is currently, like, sort of what we're being rewarded for with our career or in society. And that it can be a really courageous and sort of daring act to put that down, and to reclaim it, sort of inner alchemy wise, the different elements that we don't necessarily go to on a regular basis, and allow those to all integrate in the heart.
I love that. That's well said. Yeah, you're in a time of expansion. And to me, sovereignty is about, and this is why it's so important. I mean, if you even look at everything that's going on in our political systems and everything that's going on in the world, it's about your governing state is you, right? And you're no longer going to adhere to the conditions around you. It's time to be brave and use your voice and stand in that power, but all from a space of love. People often conflict the word power, right? Because our world, like, if you think power, what does that mean in the world today? And people think, ugh, it cannot mean good things. But
Right,
this
like
is
that
that,
masculine power over
yeah,
media, instead of
yeah.
power as your ability to transform the world.
Right. And it's your divine power. And, we could jump down another rabbit hole another day around the, divine feminine and divine masculine and all of that that's balancing. But this is that sovereignty space for us to be present and move into this new energy. It's all about experiencing life how you want to experience it.
Yeah. And
And
not letting the
yeah,
world push you around. Like that sort of, I,
exactly.
I see that as like what helps me stay to feel sovereign in my own being, is where I realize that I'm living from the inside out, that I'm calling the shots, based on a place of deep alignment, and not based on shoulds, based on externals, based on expectations, or even based on like the deadlines that the me of 2 months ago thought were important. Like it's
Right.
about being present and current as possible.
Yeah, and it's, don't they say don't shit on yourself. I'm dealing with a lot of that right now because here come the holidays, and
Yeah.
I told my clients, if it's a no for you to go to somewhere else for Thanksgiving, then it's a no.
Hmm.
It's a no. It's not about ego. It's about what feels good for you. Don't do things that don't feel good for you, right? It needs to be in a space of expansion. So, yeah, I love that. I was also the ultimate overachiever for pretty much my whole life, and tied being loved and feeling safe into my productivity and workflow and creations. And I feel like so many women do this. And I mean, I don't really know any woman personally that's not, gone through the overachieving phase in some way or another. Um, and this year personally, my own experience, I had to take some time off because it was time to I had already healed this, right? But then a deeper root came up. And so I think it's about honoring your cycles and rhythms too, as you are unwinding the past, and, honoring your own process, and knowing that, healing is this alchemy journey. It's not this destination. And it's, what we're doing through this whole lifespan. And, it's every day, inviting in pain. Glennon Doyle Melton, I'm a big fan of her, and she says this: pain is the professor, right? And it's inviting the professor in to have, breakfast and break bread and chat every day, and then, moving on through the day from that heart-centered space, and really coming, it's the balance of, having a pleasurable experience day to day, and also allowing the pain to be present and not push it away, letting it heal. It must rise to be healed. But it doesn't need to
Absolutely.
be so messy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it sounds like what you're saying is that whatever is painful in our lives, that we need to give that some acknowledgement. We need to be with
Yeah.
it, and yeah, because pushing it away doesn't work. And it's here to teach us something. It's here with a message of some kind, and that being in a place where we're willing to hear what that message might be.
Yes, absolutely. It's there to teach you, and allowing it to be present so you can be, be able to move forward,
Yeah.
and align with those commitments. Because if you resist them, then they're just going to keep you distracted.
Really true. So you mentioned where we've talked about together a few ways of accessing intuition. We've talked about meditation. We've talked about connecting inwardly. We've talked about that, making lists and seeing what rises to the top as the most important thing. We've talked about infusing rituals into our daily lives. I'm wondering if you have any other suggestions for people who are wanting to connect to their intuition and to learn to trust it.
Yeah, so like some more practical tools.
Yeah, or just is there anything else that helps people maybe even access creativity or their capacity to
Yeah.
make decisions? Just like any guidance that you can shed some light on, in terms of just how to make this real for us.
Yeah, so I always, today I'm giving a lot of journaling tips and tools, because those are things you can just literally leave this podcast and start doing, right? They're
Great.
really simple. And I'm all about how can I immediately integrate things and change my life. And another thing that I love to do and say, is higher self, show me what I need to see, and actually tap by the side of my eye, show me what I need to see, and tell me what I need to hear. And then I'll tap at my ear. It doesn't matter where, right? It's just the
Nice.
intention of opening and activating, your sight and your hearing. You say, higher self, show me what I need to see, tell me what I need to hear in my highest good today. Or maybe there's a situation or a question you have, and going and asking, and you can automate, right? Or if you feel like your intuition's already really open, you can just receive that message in your meditation, in stillness, because meditation is about you connecting to your higher self or your source. And that's what meditation is there for, is to help you open up that channel. So that's a great way. Another really fun tool that I do is I say, ask your 20-year-old or wiser self if you need a more grounded answer. And it's interesting what shows up. And I do this a lot with business decisions.
Hmm.
And it's amazing what comes up, because it's really a beautiful experience to do that. So there's another great, journaling prompt for you to do. And, just say, a letter, older, wiser, 20-year-old self, show me what I need to see and tell me what I need to hear around, right? X, Y, and Z. And it's interesting what will flow out of you, right? Just sitting down and allowing yourself to be present with the pages. You can write or do it at your computer, whatever works best for you. And I think those are some great tools to connect your intuition. And I mean, the number one thing is to cut out the doubt, is to really stop doubting yourself.
Nice. Oh, that's such great advice, because I think we all know that sense of like, we all know what doubt feels like. And so being able to listen, to write down, to acknowledge even if doubt is present.
Hmm. And it's going to creep up. It's going to show up, and but this is your sovereignty, and you say, no, I'm done. I'm done. You draw the
Nice.
line. Hmm.
Chuck it out the window. I love it.
Yeah, see you later. Done.
Uh,
That's gone. That's an old identity. That's no longer your identity, because you are that powerful. You chose your life here on earth. You are so powerful. Every person is so powerful. So really tapping into that. You chose this life. Think about that. You chose to come here and have all these experiences, do everything you're doing. You are a master alchemist. Tap into your energy.
and a really powerful and a reminder of it's powerful to be reminded how powerful we are. So, Jessica, if
Hmm.
people are wanting to connect with you, how can they do that?
Oh, yeah, you can go to my website. It's just my name, which is www.jessica, Jessica, Valor, VALOR.com. And you can always just on the homepage, you can schedule a consultation with me. I do a free consultation with anyone that's potentially interested in any of the services or programs or Healers Academy that I have. So you can go check that out. And yeah, I have a lot of freebies. There's a free opt-in there, and I give a lot of rituals away. Like this month, we did a priestess ritual and invocation, and a guided healing alchemy. So, and I give these beautiful worksheets to you, so you can actually print them and write on them. And then there's always a meditation that comes with them. So those are great. And those are, I try to do like one a month at least to give away.
Awesome. Well, Jessica, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us here at Healthy Curiosity.
Thank you, Brody. It was so wonderful to be here. I appreciate you.
Thanks for listening today. For more episodes of A Healthy Curiosity, you can visit the iTunes store. If you appreciated today's show, please leave us a review. This helps other people to find the podcast. You could also head to brodywelch.com, where you can find free self-care resources, learn more about Chinese medicine, and let me know what you'd like to hear about on future episodes. I'd love to hear from you. Till next time, be good to yourself.